It's 3:30 a.m. That's freaking early. Anyway, you know what's happening today. We're pouring concrete. So we're supposed to pour concrete at 6 a.m. Of course, Manny, as you guys know, he's in charge of the whole concrete deal now. And so he told me they're going to pour at 6 a.m. So I don't remember the last time I missed a concrete pour. So I don't think I ever have. I guess Manny doesn't know that. Anyway, he called me up a while ago and I just pretended that I was asleep. So I'm like, hello? And he's like, did I wake you up? I'm like, yeah. So I'm pretending I was asleep. I asked him if I needed to be there. He said no. So anyway, I'm going to beat him there. But I'm sure I'm going to beat him there because it's 5 a.m. So I'm about 5 minutes away from the job site. So I'm going to be there an hour before, which I doubt he will be there. But anyway, I will say that I'm excited about the fact that he doesn't think he even needs me there. As you guys know, he hasn't been here long, and for him to have the confidence to say that, no, I got it, you don't have to be there, that makes me feel very good. So I guess we'll find out today whether he's confident or he's just mistaken. I hope he's just confident in his abilities. He's a very smart kid, I'll give him that. And I have no doubt that he's got it ready to go and everything would be fine without me. However, like I said, I haven't missed a pour, I don't think, ever, so I'm gonna be there. All right, so I made it to the job site. Like I predicted, there's nobody here, so I'm gonna go check the job, make sure it's ready to go. If there's anything wrong with it, then I'll call Manny and either fix it or even call off the pour if I have to. What we have here is we have a ramp that goes the length of the building. This is a 4-foot ramp. I see the headers are in. I see all the beams are dug. I also see that there's a string line right here. See the string line right here? So that tells me that they made sure that the forms are straight. That's good. We have another ramp over here. And of course all the beams are dug. The rebar's not touching the plastic. Everything's bricked up. Of course, I also see another string line right here. So, like I said, that tells me they verified everything. So as you can see, this slab is not very wide, just kind of long and narrow. So we don't need a pump on this one. And if we had a pump, that pump would almost be here by now. The plates in place. They have a toilet stubbed out. I don't see a vent pipe. Maybe they're gonna do that on the outside. The customer did that themselves. So there's not a vent. I will let him know he's gonna have to do one on the outside. Now the beam here. This is just for a metal building. This is not a Barndominium. But plates here. So all the plates are in place. All right, so I guess Manny did a good job. So it's about 50 degrees this morning, which is fairly cold for Texas standards. 3,000 straight sack is what we're pouring. And like I said, we're gonna tailgate. We're not gonna get a pump, so that's what we're doing. I'm probably gonna call the plant right now and ask them to get me some water reducer in that mix because we're gonna have to tailgate. So I don't want these guys adding water to the mix because typically when you have to tailgate, they want to add a lot of water. So if we add water reducer, it's gonna act like if it was really wet, but it's not gonna be wet. Okay, so I'm gonna do it right now because, man, and I don't fault them. I mean, if you've ever poured concrete, you have to understand how heavy concrete is. So they want to add water, but it's not good for concrete. So water reducer is what you want to use. All right, so the finisher just showed up. And Manny's not here yet, so that's not good. He's supposed to be here before everybody else. I'm sure he's been talking to them on the phone, but I gotta teach Manny that he needs to be here before everyone else. All right, here comes Manny finally. technically he's still early. It's 5:30 for a 6 o'clock pour. That's good. However, I did get here first, so he needs to catch some hell for that. About time you showed up.
Oh, okay.
What happened? Traffic?
Huh?
Did you hit traffic at 4 o'clock in the morning?
No, I didn't. It wasn't traffic. I was my ETA was 5:15, but I stopped to get ice and I had to get some other stuff.
What's that for?
That's the exhaust for the generator. Once I get it hooked up, I need to mount it. But
Why didn't you mount it over there?
right there?
Yeah.
This is the box right here. It wasn't gonna clear it.
What if you turned it?
Well, but it wasn't gonna be sticking out this way.
So where is it going to be now?
Right there.
So now it's going to be here
Uh-huh.
instead of being over there. So what are you going to be able to put over there on top of that exhaust pipe?
Well, not much.
Could you have turned it this way so you take up less space?
But either way, I mean,
Huh?
so either way, it's still gonna be more buttered out this way, isn't it?
Show me where it's going to be at.
Right there.
I guess it works, but I would have turned it the other way.
Like wrong way is facing this
Well,
way?
yeah, and then that would have been a shorter run for the exhaust pipe.
Yeah. I didn't want to heat this up too much.
Well, how are you going to heat it up when you got an exhaust pipe?
Well, yeah, but the exhaust pipe gets hot too. Yeah, but this way it's running. I mean, I don't know if you can see it. It's running to the bottom, and not necessarily.
Yeah, it's running right against the wood. So you don't want to heat up. Okay, all right. Just so I understand, you don't want to heat up the metal box, but you don't have
With
a problem.
the-
Listen. I'm asking a question.
Okay.
You don't want to heat up the metal box, but you have no problem heating up the wood.
Well, I mean, it's not. They're gonna put stuff underneath it that way it doesn't hit
Well,
the wood.
Okay, well the question remains the same.
Yes. Yes, I would much rather have it.
You much rather heat up the wood than the metal box.
Well, we're gonna. Alright.
Well, couldn't you have it? I mean,
Yeah, but.
but what? I just want to hear it. I mean, hey, I'm just asking questions here.
Yeah.
What?
I thought it'd be better to run it this way.
Against the wood?
Yeah.
Well, we may have to reconsider, Manny. Because that's a long pipe. I mean, it's just running all over the place. And look, he had it specially made for this. Anyway, what do you guys think? I think we worry less about the metal box and worry more about the wood. But I don't know. Manny!
Yeah.
All right, I know some of you guys think I'm really hard on Manny, but I just walked in this trailer. Come here, Manny. And you guys are seeing it like I'm seeing it.
What?
I asked you to put a fire extinguisher in here, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Look where the fire extinguisher is. It's not funny, Manny.
I know.
Where was it at? Where was it mounted at?
I haven't had it mounted.
Why?
Because
Give me a good reason why it's not mounted.
well, there's not a good reason.
So, anyway, yeah, blood pressure's up. All right, you got that in here. Just kind of threw it in there with the rest of the stuff. So, Manny, you gotta hang that. Don't do that again, please. Blood pressure's up a little bit. All right. Gotta get to work now.
Screwdriver?
Yeah.
There's a cover right there that had to take off.
There was a cover where?
There's a cover covering this.
I understand. The question is, why is there a screwdriver on the floor?
Hard to pick it up.
Yeah, you didn't pick it up. That's why. So that's how we lose tools, Manny. Manny has a really bad habit of not picking up after himself. And I'm trying to cure him of that disease. So that's how we lose tools. And of course you saw that extinguisher. So now he has a box for the extinguisher here that we don't need. He has a box for the mag vibe here. What's in that box?
Nothing.
As you guys see, man, he's got some bad habits that I need to deal with. Again, he's a good kid. He's a hardworking kid, but he's got some bad habits, like that fire extinguisher. I mean, that the generator, he could have thought it out a little better, but that's okay. We'll get it fixed. All he has to do is, have another pipe made. I asked him to just deal with it, and he did, but I don't like the way he dealt with it. Again, he was worried about the metal box, but not about the wood, which obviously doesn't make sense. And when I forced him to repeat it, to actually tell me what he was thinking, you could tell the minute he said it out loud, it just all of a sudden made no sense. But I mean, we'll get him there. So I was sitting there thinking about this pipe that I saw this morning and how it didn't have a vent. I told Manny, I said, you know what, I just walked by that pipe and I don't think it's far enough away from the forms. And sure enough, he measured it and it was about 8 inches off. So we called the customer just to ask him why it was like that, and he said he did it himself and he didn't really know how far away it needed to be. So anyway, we're getting it moved. He still doesn't have a vent, which he's gonna have to do on the outside, I guess, but at least that pipe's gonna be where it needs to be. So we have the forms. They have a tin lug, which is 1.5 inches. Then we're gonna have a 4-inch metal wall. So that pipe needs to be 12 inches to center from the inside of that wall. So we gave it 13 plus 4, that's 17. And the reason we gave it 13 is because more than likely that wall is gonna have either plywood or something there. So just to give it a little bit of extra room. But anyway, so we got it moved for the customer. And now we're gonna get back to pouring. We're pouring 3,000 straight sack. I called about water reducer and they actually don't have a mix design for 3,000 straight. They said they had a mix design for 3,000 regular, which I didn't want, so we ended up getting just 3,000 straight. And I told the guys, just don't add too much water. So it's fine. It's a little bit extra work, obviously, and but it's just better for the concrete overall to not add too much water, because every time you add water, you're just making it weaker. As you guys know, we do all the slabs for Barndominiums, right? But I also do metal building slabs like this one that we're doing. So these are the slabs where I like to test things, like day one, water reducers, retarders, all that stuff I get to test here. Obviously they're smaller slabs, they're more manageable. So if I'm testing something new, I'm gonna try it out here first, and then we'll try it out on the big slabs, the Barndominium slabs. So I have the luxury of being able to have the option to test stuff here. Now the day one we've already tried before and I really like it. So I think, like I said before, we're gonna start using it on every slab because I really like the results. Day one, you wanna apply it right before you bull float it. You kinda wanna work it in with the bull float. So as soon as they screed the concrete, we're gonna spray it, and then they're gonna come back and use the roller tamper, and then we'll be able to work it in with the bull float. So that's kind of how the day one works. You can also apply it later when you're troweling. You can actually spray it again and work it in with the trowel machine. You don't want it to sit on the surface. You want to work it into the concrete. So that's the key about day one. The first portion of the slab already striked off, and here comes Manny with it's called a silica slayer. It's a sprayer that we use for to spray day one. So the sprayer that Manny's using is the silica slayer, and it's a battery operated sprayer. It's got 2 speeds, so works really good for this. Obviously, all you got to do is spray the day one like we just did, and work it in. All right, so we're gonna go get something to eat for the guys, Manny. Mm-hmm. What do they want, tacos or what?
Tacos.
So we're gonna run. Where are we going?
To Luling.
Luling, Texas. Is there a restaurant over there? All they have is barbecue with.
Yeah.
This is Luling, man.
I heard they have some good barbecue.
But yeah, have you not seen Friday Feast?
No, I haven't. Which one?
The one about the Luling barbecue.
No.
My goodness.
No.
God, this guy. I'm telling you, there's so much he doesn't know. All right, so you know what they want.
You want to get a barbecue at 7:30 in the
No,
morning?
how the hell are you gonna get a barbecue? It's probably not even open. You know what's better than bacon?
Nothing.
Nah, you're wrong, my friend.
What's better than bacon?
Bacon wrapped bacon with bacon bits.
Bacon bits.
All right, so we just got back from getting tacos, and this is where we put the day one right here. And of course, when we left, the guys didn't put any, and you can see on that side how much bleed water is on the surface. So we're gonna go ahead and spray some day one on the rest of it, and then we're gonna go ahead and float it again so we can work it in. But I think it's pretty obvious. So day one seals the bleed water in the concrete, and obviously you want to maintain that water in there as long as possible, because that's gonna make sure that your concrete takes longer to dry, which obviously going to give me more working time, and it's going to let that concrete sit up better. It's going to make it stronger. It's going to just be better all around. I'm learning the day one as we go, but there's a lot of benefits to it, and as we test it some more, I'll let you know more about it. But I mean, this is a pretty quick test that we just did, and it's pretty obvious. I mean, look at it. Look at the bleed water. There's a pretty clean line right there where we sprayed it earlier this morning. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and bull float it again, perpendicular to the first pass. It's obvious over there it has less bleed water than over here. However, I was not here, so they may have put more water on this mix than on that other mix. So more testing to come, but maybe it's just a coincidence, but it's looking much better over there. We're gonna test the crap out of this day one, but so far from what I have seen, it works very well. Again, you know, they're panning, as you can see, there's a lot of cream on the surface, and that's what the day one is really coming in. So let me show you this trowel machine that we used to pan. Well, we can pan with any of our machines, but you can see the big thing about this trowel machine is that CVT clutch right there. That clutch is what really allows this trowel machine to have the torque to pull that pan. If you have a centrifugal clutch, that ain't gonna work. I mean, it will, but it's gonna be really, really hard. Another thing, because it can get pretty loud, you can see I have the standard exhaust right there, and I welded another one to it. So I made two exhausts, so that makes it a lot quieter. See, it's got a Honda GX 200. I think that's a 6.5 horsepower motor. That motor has no modifications whatsoever other than the air filter. This trowel machine, or this motor, a lot of times when we're pulling with that pan, it can struggle a little bit. So they make the fuel injection setup for these motors. So I'm probably gonna order one, and I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna test it on that trowel machine. If it works great, then I'm gonna do all my other trowel machines. Some of you have been asking about that conversion. So these are Comet 40 clutches, and I just pretty much pulled off the centrifugal clutches, which are like this one. That's the typical setup that they come with. The problem with these clutches is you have one speed and that's it. Okay, so if you're trying to pan with them, we pan with this one because this is a 36 inch, so it's not real heavy. We can still pan with a centrifugal clutch. But once you get up to these 48s, that pan is just so heavy that you burn up a belt in no time with a centrifugal clutch. Plus, they don't have the torque. Also, once you pull off the pan and you're just trying to finish a slab, you don't have the RPM on the top end to really do a good job, especially if the slab's getting away from you. So that's why I did the CVT conversions, okay? A lot of you have asked me about this, and what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna order a CVT setup for this 36, and then I'll show you guys how I do it. It's really simple, okay? I'll do that. I'll order that setup, and then I'll show you guys how to do it. And also I'm gonna order, while I'm at it, I'm gonna order that fuel injection setup for that other trowel machine. I just want to try it out. You know, I'm always trying to improve on things, so I'll probably do that. It's a Comet 40 is what I use on the other ones, but they make a 30, which is probably going to be best for this trowel machine because it's smaller. But the Comet 30, you need to know that the size of the shaft for the driver. This is the driver pulley, and that's going to be the driven pulley. Okay, this one drives that one. Pretty simple. You need to know the size of the shafts. These are both 3/4. The bigger motors have a 1-inch pulley, or not pulley, but a shaft. So anyway, so this is a 3/4 shaft, that's a 3/4 shaft, and then you need the distance from center to center. And that's gonna tell you what size belt you need. And you order those three, the driver, the driven, and the belt. You pull these off, you replace them, and you're good to go. The only problem with this one down here is, if you look over here, the driven, you need a bolt to hold it in place, and this one doesn't have a hole, or it's not threaded for a bolt. So what I do is you have to drill it and tap it for a bolt, but that's actually fairly simple. And like I said, I'll do a separate video on that. It's not very expensive, but once you do it, you'll never want to go back to centrifugal clutches. CVTs are the way to go. See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm hoping the fuel injection kit is going to take care of those issues. See right there? See exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and order that fuel injection kit. Hopefully it'll take care of those issues. That's all I got for today. We'll see you next time. We are Texas Barndominiums.